Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another Master Joe Locke Tai Chi and Qigong practice. I had to think there, like, which one am I doing today? Okay, so we have a lot on our plate today. We're going to go swiftly through the 7 stars, rotations Qigong. We're then going to pop into our Phoenix in Graceful Clouds of Blessing form, just to see how you're getting on with that, make sure the body memory is there. And finally, if we have time, we'll have a few goes through the Immortals Crossing the Sea form. So before we started recording, I was checking in with everyone to see if you were doing your standing practice, and hallelujah, yes, everyone is, including me. It's good to get into a regular rhythm, but don't beat yourself up, please, if you fall off the wagon now and again. It's a real strength of character to be able to get back up, dust yourself off, and get back into it. We're just going to do a second of Wuji, please. Bring the heels together, the toes a little bit apart. This is Master Locke's method of the closed Wuji position. We float the top of the head up, but please be very careful and make sure the head is slightly angled forwards. We're talking 23.4 degrees to be precise. So a slight angle forwards, which brings the chin slightly down, but now draw the chin back towards the base of the skull. So we want to feel a lengthening up the back of the neck. Be very careful, because it's very tempting over time to allow the chin to lift as we're lengthening up. If we're thinking of going up, the chin often goes up, but we want the chin actually to be slightly down and back towards the occiput, the back of the head. Take a few moments, please, to release, let go, and listen. Now, if we had time, standing for longer would be better. And you can stand in this position with the heels together. Or let's open, and the way we're going to open, we're simply going to open and shift the weight. Let's fix the feet to parallel. So you'll notice Master Locke's way of opening is shifting the weight as you step. This is an influence of the Bagua training. He's a Bagua master as well. So feet underneath the shoulders. I think actually I'm a little wide. There we go. You can check your feet and return to center. So again, you could do a lovely long stand. Master Locke encourages us to do a half hour before and a half hour after our training. Now that's if you are able to give it that amount of time, but even a few seconds pays off. Check posture and let go through your system. Find all 10 fingers. Are they still lengthening down? Feeling to the tips of the fingers. Notice any sensations if you feel buzzing. Notice that the fingers start to almost swell. You may also notice that the arms will start to bounce away from the body. And this is a natural response to Wuji. The energy blossoms. It is like something from nothing. But really, it's like springtime within the body. The energy that was at rest is now unfolding, and you will feel it as pun, as expansion. So let's begin our 7 stars rotations. Off we go. Movement 2. Changing direction. Draw in, relax the shoulders, and change direction. Back to center. Movement 3. Feel your way. Listen to the energy directed by your fingertips and by your hands. Pay attention to the alignment of your knees. Check posture. Relax to center. And check posture. Relax to center. And release, and good. Continue, please. I'm going to flip and do the same as you. So, the dragon, ready, and feeling up your back. Tiger, phoenix, snake. See your feet. Good. Turtle. Chin down and back, lengthen the neck. Stretch, fill the back and release. 5 elements. Movement 6. 6 harmonies. Step through, turn to the back, open left. Back the way you came. Step back right. Turn, step through left, open right. Keep turning to the right, or keep turning that way, and cross. 2. Step, step, back, back, and change. Seven stars in rotations. Turn in, release, and Finish. Let's do 7 stars in rotations one more time, because I didn't feel I did that very well, so let's try again. Ready? I'm going to turn it down just a little bit so that you can see my feet. Okay, ready? Right hand under, turn the ball, heel out, release. Off we go. Turn in, release, and rest. Well done. Yeah, I didn't do the best there. The thing is, you do need the space for it, that it is, if possible, 8 steps round. Whereas if you didn't quite have the space, if you needed to make the circle smaller, I'm guessing you could do it in less. There is a strong connection with the number 8 in Bagua. Bagua literally means 8. Ba. I don't know what gua means. Is it steps? Not sure, but ba is very important. And even I've seen in therapeutic qigong, you know, if they're drawing a circle, for example, around the lao gong, they call it bagua. They call it circle walking. So you're walking around your lao gong point. I think it was 36 times they recommended doing that, just to stimulate the energy, that you just draw a circle around. But they're calling it bagua. And bagua, you'll often see it in Taoism, that they'll have a mirror and then they'll have the symbols around the mirror. That is meant to be very balancing for the energy. And it's 8 stations around the circle. You'll see it in is it the Southern Korean flag? You have the yin yang in the middle and you have the symbols of Bagua around the outside. So the symbols are really showing like cross sections of the yin yang. So much yin to so much yang. And they're described as solid lines or broken lines. So the solid line describes, for want of a better word, the masculine, and the broken line describes the feminine. So if you look at the yin yang, you could slice it into 8 sections, and each section has a different amount of black and a different amount of white, which is describing a different aspect of our universe. So for example, fire, water, the elements, but more than that, air and all the rest of it. But actually you could endlessly slice the yin yang. It doesn't have to be 8, and you'll get a different amount of black and white in each segment. So that's why the yin yang is meant to be able to describe the universe, because it's very simple, and yet it contains all complexity. It's like a barcode, really. It just has endless descriptions of different amounts of yin and different amounts of yang, just like the endless universe that we see around us. And Tai Chi, the idea that we embrace the yin-yang symbol, is to create this harmonious, simple balance within the complexity of our bodies. So a little bit of theory thrown in for good measure. All right, you've had a little break. Now let us look at the Phoenix form. At any stage, folks, if you do have any questions, or if anything didn't quite work, jump in, especially in between moments like this, and ask questions. You know, if one person's wondering, everyone's wondering. But other than Otherwise, we'll just jump into our phoenix form. Let's do it once through and see how we get on. If you remembered for your own personal training, you can always reverse it, as in not do it from the end back to the beginning. That would be interesting. But go from the beginning all the way through and then go all the way through on the other side. So that would be interesting as well. Just going to pause just for a moment and double check. Lovely. Okay, so here we go with the phoenix. We'll just do it on the first side. I just want to check that everything's happy before we do anything else. But let's get started. So heels together, please. Yeah. Yeah. We lengthen up. Chin slightly down and back. Remember that we want to feel a lengthening up the back of the neck. Fingers lengthen to the floor. Calming down. And even just hold the first movement in your mind. Phoenix starts with the right hand scooping under. Ready? Start. Very good. How do we get on? Okay. Excellent. Yeah, it feels very comfortable and safe, doesn't it? Having been working on, yeah, working on the Immortals, which is more, I mean, the Immortals Crossing the Sea is, what's that word? An allegorical journey. Master Locke gives a story to it. If you have a look for his book, that there is a story behind each movement. It's a journey. It takes you on a journey, and this is a very typical aspect of Tai Chi, especially it seems Hong Kong based Tai Chi, and Master Locke is from Hong Kong. That it's not just a series of movements that are good for you with a nice little story just to add a bit of spice, but the story actually is designed to take us on a journey emotionally and as a sort of analogy of life in general, you know, that there are trials and tribulations and difficulties. So the form itself has trials, tribulations and difficulties that are to be overcome. That it's like a mathematical puzzle that you have to figure out and churn out and you know, and overcome and you know, succeed at the end, just like life, you know. And so I haven't been able to download Master Locke's digital book version of it, so I still haven't read these allegorical stories that tie in with the movements. But think of the name, it's Immortals Crossing the Sea. So you can think of that, yes, they live forever, but but the sea is big and is full of treachery and difficulty, and it's constantly things to overcome in order to achieve their goal. And so, yeah, so the Immortals is designed to be challenging, pithy, you know, that we're exploring our limits and overcoming our limits as best we can. But remember, we can always adapt as necessary as stepping stones along the way to getting the whole thing. So let's have a go at the Immortals Crossing the Sea form. See where those obstacles are today, if they're in the same place as they were yesterday. And that's one of the beauties of Tai Chi and part of the allegorical journey, that though we're describing the same story, just like a good storyteller, we will never actually be able to tell it the same way twice. So your body is different today than it was yesterday. Let's tap into how it's responding now and tell the story as best we can with the tools that we have at our disposal today. All right, are we ready? So heels together, toes slightly apart, we lengthen up, the chin slightly down and back. Feel that lengthening in the neck, lengthening the fingers down, and give yourself time to arrive. Ready? This time we're going to scoop with the left hand under. Well done. Good stuff. First attempt, not bad. Take yourself a wee breath. If you want a wee drink, that's fine. So, yeah, very nice. We want in Tai Chi to have a sense of flow. However, there is flow and there is precision, and the two want to work hand in hand. So we want to execute each movement fully and complete each movement and even express a kind of stillness at the end of each movement while continuing the flow of energy through that stillness. So think of it like a comma at the end of each line of a poem. We don't want a full stop and we don't want a break in the text because we want the energy to keep flowing. However, in a comma, there's a breath and then you go on. Now, I'm still working on that. It's all too easy in the attempt to keep the flow going. We just kind of blend one movement into the next, which there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think, but it is quite nice to, to strike a pose, for example, and relax into it, feel into it, express it fully, make sure that you've really got to grips with it, and then move on. But what we don't want to do is strike a pose and stop, and then start again. So there are obvious things in Tai Chi, and then there is a whole bucket load of subtlety involved. So we want to express positions, but they're suspended animation rather than stops. So I'd like to do the form again with you, and this time we are going to strike a pose throughout the form. We're going to hold these postures just for a moment. When we finish a move, when we finish a posture, when we get into a position, I want you to hold it, but I want you to hold it with some animation, with some energy. Think of the and rather than stop. Okay, start. And you'll feel the difference. It's really like using your clutch control at the lights. If you're pulling up to a red light, but you just want to keep the car, what's the word, laboring away. You want to keep it kind of going without going, okay, handbrake on, okay, off we go again. So I want to see if we can work on that. I'm working on it too, so it is advanced in its own way. And some folks pick it up very quickly and are very good at it. Some, it's a work in progress for a long time. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. This is a subtlety. It is important because we want our energy to flow. We also want to own each position and have a chance to do any postural corrections and releases through it. You could take it to the other extreme where we literally go through the form and stop and do standing practice in whatever stance you're in for 2 minutes. Just hold it like you would do standing practice. See if you can release into it, see if you can relax into it, see if there are any areas building tension, and then continue. So you can do it like that. You can do a practice like that. That is an exercise. It's not the way we want to perform our Tai Chi, but it's certainly very useful for self-correction and even teacher correction. Hold it and then they come around and fix it. Okay, here we go. Ready? We lengthen up and relax down. Find all 10 fingers. Ready, and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're exaggerating. See if you can keep the feeling of movement. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, that should have been a half step. And so you can pause anytime you like. It's not mandatory where I'm doing it. Lift, step left. You could do it there if you want. Turn, turn, pluck left, open right. Here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Tricky one, huh? 1, 2, 3. Focus your eyes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Okay, so what we just did is not the art of stopping and starting. I hope you don't interpret it as such, but rather we want to stretch out the and feeling so that we have stillness of a sort, but there's still a breath of life and movement within it. It's a little bit like some of those pictures that you'll see, the modern pictures, where they show a photograph, but it looks like they're breathing, or they might blink, you know, that there's a bit of animation, a bit of life about them. That's what we want. We want to strike a pose, hold it, but keep the flow going, even in stillness, before we continue on. I heard one teacher talk about, not one of my teachers actually, but just a teacher talking about there being 4 aspects within Tai Chi and Qigong. One is movement within movement, the way we are in life, you know, there's internal movement, there's external movement. Then you have stillness on the outside, but movement on the inside, like your standing practice. You know, you're relaxing, you're letting go, but internally your body is a hive of activity. And then you have stillness on the inside with movement on the outside, like our Tai Chi form, the way we're meant to be moving, but calm and still on the outside. So like the great ocean, there's movement, but it seems still. So that's stillness on the inside and movement on the outside. And finally, there's stillness on the inside and stillness on the outside. And that would be your very deep meditative practice where you're almost in a state of stasis, that all activity seems to cease. So, for example, to make that more clear, in yoga they call it yoga nidra. It's like a yogic sleep or a meditative sleep. So everything has just become still. So in the stillest aspect of your standing practice, it seems like you have suspended animation, that or suspended stillness. Everything just becomes still. And all 4 stages are part of life. They're in there somewhere. But when we are striking a pose, we want stillness on the outside, but still the flow of energy, comma, not full stop. Something to play with. It's something I need to play with as well. And I notice it in my own practice. Often it's just too much movement. You know, it's like an endless sentence without a comma. We don't want that either. So we want these and moments. And And it also makes it more interesting, doesn't it? Rather than just, okay, done that, next. It's all too easy to cut corners and not to finish a move. So I want to see each movement finished. Where are we? Here. Each movement finished, but still lively, and then into the next. So have a play with it. It is more advanced. This is very advanced concepts. First of all, get the choreography. Get your body in alignment and position. Get your structure with your standing practice. But when all that is in place, then we can play with these concepts a little bit more. So let's finish off with a little wind down. And if you had time after class, you could do a further stand to really let all that good stuff sink in. In fact, I might do that myself after we finish recording. A nice wee stand. Don't get too het up about how long you stand. Just do as long as you can comfortably, or as long as your schedule will allow. You'll find yourself standing a lot longer when you let go of the clock. Or at least that's what happened with me. Good, down the legs please. To the extent one year, one of my teachers asked me, how long do you stand each day? And I said, I really don't know, because I don't count anymore. I used to watch the clock, and that would make me chase the clock. I'd want it to be over sooner. So I threw the clock out and just stood. But, you know, he obviously could see that I had been doing the work, but I couldn't answer. I couldn't tell him because I didn't know. But that works for me. Maybe timing yourself works for you. Let's give the shoulders a wee pat. Think of this as a wee thank you to your body for doing all the work and just checking it's still happy. Good, back to center and shake out. And let's finish with our 100 ailments go away by Bing Xia. Let's lift up the arms, let the wrists be droopy, and bounce. Let all your wobbly bits wobble, and breathe. If you have nerve pain, don't quite let the heels hit the ground, you'll still get the benefits. And relax. Let the arms swing. Allow everything to return to stillness. Very good. Let's cover center, please. Hug the elbows gently in. Breathing into your center, feeling into your center. And feel your energy is stronger. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Practice, please. Practice. Thank you very much. Well done. And see you next time.